Well, this seems to be the main news going around the internet today that the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel is closing. Now, if you don't know anything about this hotel, this is a sequel themed hotel, which is about $5,000 a night per person. Previously, about a year ago, I did a reaction to the trailer of what we could be expecting. It was really quite lackluster, and I didn't realize at the time, but many of you pointed out in the comments that I exhibited the 5 stages of grief or something in my face um, while watching the trailer. And I was really actually looking forward to this because I remember them advertising this back when they pretty much bought Lucasfilm. And they were talking about there was going to be some sort of a Star Wars themed hotel. And I was so unbelievably stoked for it. Like, could you imagine like a Star Wars themed hotel? But no, we didn't really get that. It was more so a whole new world. It wasn't like you'd be living on the Death Star or on Tatooine or, in a Republic cruiser or anything like that. It was something new called the Halcyon or Halcyon. And it's connected to their world of Batu, and it's connected to the sequel trilogy and all this and that. And it's all First Order stuff, right? It's all sequel trilogy stuff. So that right there kind of limits the person in and of itself. We're going to read the article. I have a lot to say about this because I always thought this hotel was really just ridiculous. Ridiculously themed, ridiculous price, and just the overall ridiculously themed and ridiculously priced, really. So the fact that it's a sequel trilogy thing already, pigeonholes you to just sequel trilogy interest only. Well, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe that's not the most inclusive thing. Maybe I want to go more so, original trilogy. I started Star Wars with the original trilogy when I was 6. Maybe that's where I want to go back to. Or maybe I want to go to the prequel trilogy. I want to go Pod Racers. I want to go Mustafar. I want to go wherever else. Right? Geonosis would be fun. Kamino. Could you imagine opening your window and it's literally Kamino outside? Well, that'd be pretty cool. And, the rooms could pretty much look like Django's room that we saw on Kamino when Obi-Wan went to interrogate him. So there's that. Plus the fact that it's $5,000 a night, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there are hotels in Maui that don't even charge 5,000 a night, and you get a beautiful experience on a tropical island in Maui. This is like some cramped looking, doesn't really even feel like Star Wars, just looks more so like some science fiction thing, maybe out of like an alien movie that you'd be paying $5,000 a night for. And it just doesn't encapsulate you as much as you would think a Star Wars project would. The company said that its Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel at Walt Disney World in Florida, which costs nearly $5,000 per couple, per couple for a 2-night stay. What a deal. Will take its final voyage on September 28th. I mean, I could see them charging this if we're actually going into outer space, or traveling somewhere. But you're literally staying in essentially what is like a film media movie set, pretty much. Employees were notified of the decision Thursday afternoon. Before that, the website showed availability through December 31st. Disney is contacting guests who have trips on the book after the scheduled closing and will give them priority to switch to an earlier slot. New bookings for the remaining voyages will be paused until May 26th. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and I even saw comments when I posted this on Twitter that some of you guys had booked this for, next year, for your next summer. For graduation, and a lot of you won't be able to go now. I personally don't think like you'll be missing out on much, but to a lot of people, they did want to go even, beyond the price point. Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is one of our most creative projects ever and has been praised by our guests and recognized for setting a new bar for innovation and immersive entertainment. Yeah, it's so creative and been praised so much that we're actually having to shut it down because we're not making enough money. The company said in a statement, "This premium boutique experience gave us the opportunity to try new things on a smaller scale of 100 rooms. And as we prepare for its final voyage, we will take what we've learned to create future experiences that can reach more of our guests and fans." Well, how about this, Disney? Why don't you create something that is much more inclusive in the terms of its price point, where you could have, maybe $500 a night, let's say, which is still quite expensive, for maybe a smaller little 1 bedroom, whatever, or like a studio. And then you can tier it up. You could do like, the Galactic Star Cruiser experience, or the Grand Admiral experience, and you pay $5,000 and you get a whole freaking suite all to yourself. You get, maybe like a butler or something like that who is dressed as a freaking droid, okay? and you get like all this food. You get a whole different experience. You can maybe partake as a commander on the ship, and maybe you can, dude. There are so many different. I'm gonna make you guys a lot of money, okay? And forgive me for being a little bit arrogant, but look, it didn't work out, and you recognize that. But here's what you need to do: look at Harry Potter Land. Super fun, right? What if we create something like that, but a Jedi temple, or a Sith temple, or a bounty hunter school, the guild? Or you can go on some Star Cruiser or whatever and, be a pilot or something like that. What if you have a place which allows you to do whatever you want to do and really immerse yourself in Star Wars? Forget the sequel trilogy. We're going all the films. Forget even all the films. Let's just figure out something for Star Wars. Let's just base it on Star Wars in general. So let's say, hey, mommy, daddy, I want to go to Star Wars Land. Like, I want to be a Sith Lord. Like, oh, well, I guess, this experience we're going to be paying for the Sith, the dark side experience. And, you pay your money and you literally go to a part of the hotel or whatever it is, which is all dark side centric. You go through quests and adventures. All the food is dark side centric. Everything is dark side centric. Wow, we had a great time. We finished the trip for 3 days or whatever. This was great. Mommy, daddy, I want to go to a Jedi adventure. Okay, well, we can maybe do that next year. Next year they do the whole Jedi temple experience. You got maybe a hologram of Yoda teaching the younglings, stuff like that. Maybe Anakin comes in, like, Master Daddy, too many of them. We could leave that part out, but we could also have them, Mommy, Daddy, that was really fun, but now we want to be a Mandalorian. So maybe 6 months after that, if your parents are really rich or whatever, you can go to the Bounty Hunters Guild and you become a bounty hunter, and you get, depending on what you pay, you get maybe an entire bounty hunter suit. And it could literally just be a flight suit and just Velcro stuff that you choose on yourself, like an armor or whatever. And you customize your suit. The possibilities are so endless, man. And it doesn't really have to be all that huge. There could be 5 rooms per experience. The dark side room could have 5 different rooms, and maybe they could interchange. Maybe you have the screens around, kind of like you do with the what's that thing? Stagecraft, right? Like what they do with the Mandalorian. I think that would be a much better experience, in my opinion. Former Disney CEO Bob Chapek announced the project in 2017 when he was a chairman of the theme parks division, promising a revolutionary experience that would let Star Wars fans dress up, participate in adventures, and immerse themselves in constant role-playing. Yeah, but the problem was that it only allowed sequel trilogy fans. And I know that, Disney, you guys don't really want to see it as oh, it's all Star Wars. It's really not. There are certain fans that really just stick to one thing. There are certain fans that hate the prequel trilogy and just love the originals, nothing else. I know people who refuse to watch the prequels and refuse to watch any sort of Disney media because they feel the original trilogy was the most amazing thing, and anything beyond that will tarnish it. And I fully respect that. The same goes for all the other trilogies. I know guys that have just seen the prequels, haven't seen the originals. My buddy, Balin, he loves the prequel trilogy. The original trilogy doesn't feel like it's as captivating. And fair enough. Fair enough, dude. To each their own. But I gotta say, if they really want to knock this out of the park and make a lot of cash, they gotta be more inclusive with people's interests. And not just shove us into this sequel trilogy thing that really... Clearly, it ain't working. It's unlike anything that exists today, he said. The attraction, which some compare more to a cruise than a hotel, opened in March of 2022, so just about a year ago now. It allowed guests to live out Star Wars fantasies, taking part in lightsaber training in droid racing competitions. The lightsaber training was... I've done my research. I've seen the clips of people going to this hotel, all the influencers getting sent out there and stuff like that and posting on their social media. I've seen all of it. I wouldn't want to go to this if it was offered to me, but I would go for, the content because it would be fun with you guys, but it just really doesn't seem like Star Wars to me. It doesn't seem interesting. It just seems lame. It seems like you know what? I explained it in the reaction to the trailer. It seems like an offshoot brand trying to captivate something on Star Wars without making it be Star Wars, really, so they don't get sued. The stay also included a transport shuttle to the Star Wars section of Disney Hollywood Studios and its 2 rides and themed meals. Incredibly disappointed, Star Wars Galactic Cruiser is shutting down. It was an amazing experience I got to enjoy with 2 of my longtime friends who are fellow Star Wars fans. Disney touted some of its innovations with the project, including creating a real lightsaber, concocting new otherworldly flavors in its foods and drinks. One infamous example, blue shrimp. Okay, so they just made some shrimp blue. And merging real life and digital entertainment to craft a unique story for each guest. But the price tag starting at $4,809 for two people on weeknights during the cheapest time of year, and that's USD, mind you, like us plebs here in Canada, that's like $6,000, made the experience unattainable for many fans, especially considering the rising cost of a non-galactic Disney vacation. Robert Niles, founder and editor of the Theme Park Insider, said in an email that under current CEO Bob Iger, Disney does blockbusters, not boutique. There was no way that this could ever scale to the numbers where it made enough money to be a better investment than other projects on which Disney could spend this operating budget. The company said it wants to deliver immersive experiences at an even greater scale moving forward. Many reviewers were enthusiastic about their visits when Galactic Star Cruiser launched, but even some proponents complained about the less than magical arrival scene, the utilitarian bathrooms, and an unexciting lightsaber experience. Yeah, dude, that lightsaber experience honestly looked like just so boring. The price tag has consistently been the biggest concern. The family price of $6,000 for four people is just too much, Matt Roseboom, owner of Attractions Magazine, wrote last year. Lan Testa, president of theme park trip planning site Touring Plans, stayed at the Star Cruiser on opening day last year and again a little more than a year later at the end of March. Property was maybe half full during his second trip. He said, on the second trip, it was obvious that Disney was going to have unexpected operational issues when the hotel wasn't full, he said in an email, and apparently there was no way to fix that without losing money. There were not enough people to staff the ship's deflector shields, for example, he said, so the ship should have been destroyed during the battle, but it wasn't, and it was never explained how the ship survived. It really poked a hole in the story. Wait, so there's like not enough people to man the freaking deflector shield? That's insane. Aaron Saggers, a TV personality and entertainment journalist, went on the first Galactic Star Cruiser voyage on May 4th, celebrated as Star Wars Day. He said in an email Thursday, news is incredibly disappointing. As a diehard Star Wars nerd, he said the experience surpasses expectations and he was already planning a repeat visit. The Star Cruiser delivered on the promise of allowing you to dress up and play make-believe in Star Wars Galaxy for a few days. The actors, cast members seemed to truly get to know the guests, and without breaking character for a couple of days in a row, they invited me and the other passengers into a wild and mind-blowing adventure. Like some sort of Burning Man in a galaxy far, far away, passengers crafted detailed backstories, established Facebook groups for individual cruises, organized pre-cruise meetups, and engaged in a bartering culture of trinkets, tokens, and trophies on board. This is truly a loss in terms of unique theme park experiences and a loss to the Star Wars fandom. Well, I think if it was a loss to the Star Wars fandom, it'd be thriving. It'd be making a ton of money. And, you know, I bet you Disney at this point is probably going to be like, well, you know, I think maybe the price point was too expensive. Dude, there are some very rich people out there who love Star Wars. Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises on the face of the planet, and it has some of the most fans of all walks of life. There are billionaires who are fans of Star Wars who would spend money in a heartbeat. And I think that if they made this so much more enjoyable in the sense that it's not just stuck to the sequel trilogy or it just wasn't lame, it didn't suck, then a lot of people would pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for whatever, man. I mean, look at Rancho Obi-Wan. Some of the stuff that guy owns is worth more than I can imagine. And there are a lot of people that have a lot of cash that would spend it happily on a experience that would give them something truly special that they can't get anywhere else. And if it has to do with Star Wars, I mean, they're going to do it once, twice, three times. Bet your dollar they're going to do it multiple times. But the fact of the matter is you're getting a lackluster experience at an exorbitant inflated price in an economy that isn't doing all that well nowadays. And so, you know, you're expecting, oh, well, why are we, you know, going under? Well, it's very obvious. The experience sucks and you're charging, you know, an arm and a leg for it. Well, I think, you know, you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to stop being so goddamn adamant about putting the sequel trilogy in everything, and you need to kind of focus on the established lore that George Lucas built for, you know, 40 plus years, which was the reason that you, Disney, paid $4 billion to purchase this franchise and this IP in the first place. I would say the heavy lifting has already been done by George. Capitalize on that. Use that to your advantage and milk the crap out of it. We're ready to pay. We're ready to buy things that are prequel trilogy, original trilogy, heck, a new experience that has to do with all of Star Wars and isn't just focused on the sequels. You already got Batuu, which was a major mistake. That's only First Order sequel trilogy crap. It should have been Lucas World, which we've seen before, and which would have had, the original trilogy planets. Could have had gone Forest Moon of Endor. You could have gone to Tatooine. You could have gone to Coruscant. You could have gone to wherever you wanted in the prequels, originals, and sequels. You can go to the Death Star. You can go to, Beggar's Canyon on Tatooine. You can do a roller coaster ride of pod racers. I mean, so many things could have been done. Like I said, Hoth, you could have gone to Hoth. You could have gone into a transport shuttle, gone to Hoth, and it's colder there. You just crank the AC, and you got like fake snow dropping from the sky, or real snow, whatever you want. And then you're serving hot chocolates and this and that. And then you go to Mustafar, or like a hotter planet like Tatooine, and it's literally hot. And they did this in the Vader Immortal VR experience that they had in Disneyland. The one that I did a fan meetup just outside of it at Downtown Disney, and then I took a whole bunch of you guys. And if you're watching this, I miss you guys. I remember that time. It was a really great time. And I paid for all of us to go into the Vader VR Immortal experience. And it was a blast, but I remember that they were shooting hot air literally at us when we had this thing on, and you're like in Mustafar, and it was actually hot. For a minute, I did feel like, okay, maybe I'm actually somewhere else. And that's how immersive it was. That was immersive, not this crap. And this is why it's going under. So I hope they learn from their mistakes. And at the end of the day, money does talk. Numbers do talk. And whatever, crap you want to spin, like this is some, premium boutique experience that gave us the opportunity to try new things on a smaller scale. No, you were trying to cash in. You thought this was an amazing idea, and you thought it was going to last. And that's why you spent millions and millions of dollars to make this happen. And when it started crumbling, now you want to say, well, it's a learning experience. I bet that's not what your investors are saying. I bet they're pretty pissed. Anyways, I hope that they learn from this mistake and, make some really cool stuff going forwards, like the idea that I had earlier with the Jedi Temple, Sith Temple, Mandalorian Guild, Bounty Hunter Guild, and I don't know, something else they can throw in there. Maybe be a moisture farmer for a day. Anyways, hopefully everyone who did get to experience it had a great time, and I wish you guys all the best. Let me know what you think in the comments. Good riddance to the Galactic Star Cruiser. Hopefully we get something better next time that actually lasts. Until the next episode, remember the Force will be with you always.